This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it.
Superman to Justice League. I need backup here. Fast.
My name is Tony Stark, and I'm not afraid of you. I'm bringing the party to you.
Years from now, I'm gonna ask, where were you when they took over the planet?
I was born with an amazing gift, and I plan to use it to help protect this planet.
We have a Hulk.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Philippines Uncut. I'm your host, Buddy Kunana. Now, in this show, we talk about everything under the sun, and tonight is about comics. Now, we all love comics, and we remember this from our younger days, from cartoon strips and daily newspapers to comic books featuring our favorite superheroes. But today, comics and collecting comics is a very serious business for many, and it's a hobby that's fascinating, amazing, and entertaining, and enjoys wide following worldwide. And today, we're going to talk about how interesting comics and comic book collecting is with officials of the Comics Club of the Philippines, led by Brian Luna, who's the head administrator of Comics Club Philippines. Good evening, Brian. Welcome to Philippines Uncut. And of course, Ryan Sulit, who is the forum administrator of Comics Club Philippines. Ryan, gandang gabi. Welcome to Philippines Uncut. Guys, so much to talk about, and yung ating video kanina, teaser lang yon, because doon nakita nyo, it's a mishmash of Marvel and DC characters, diba? So just to give our audience really just a taste of what the source of really comics is about, which is really superheroes, diba? And you know, action heroes and this kind of thing. So, but before we start, let's talk about you guys. Tell us a bit about yourself first, Brian. Who is Brian Luna?
Me.
Yes.
I work. I work at a certain internet travel review site.
Ah, okay.
As a
Wow.
moderator, I read the reviews, so I read comics. So
Nice, nice.
Araw-araw I read comics, all the reviews ng people. The
Travel
website.
review site.
Yeah,
So ito yung full-time job mo?
yeah, full-time job.
And then on the side, you're also a comic book collector and
Seller.
admin.
And
And,
then
and also selling.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Ikaw naman, Ryan, what do you do?
I am a graduate of UST Architecture, doing graphic design and photography. So, yun. Tapos I do collecting then. Yun.
Pero, I mean, full-time, anong ginagawa mo?
Full-time graphic designer and
photography also?
Yes,
You're also a photographer. What kind of photography do you do, Ryan?
more on fashion and events.
Ah, nice. Interesting. Okay. Now, okay, let's talk about your club, Comics Club Philippines. Tell us a bit about why this was founded, when this was founded.
Well, it was founded around June 16, 2013, I believe. 2013.
Oh.
Actually, it's consisted of, when I joined that group, actually, hindi ako yung gumawa ng group eh. Someone named Knight Marvel Nova.
Night Marvel Nova.
I don't even know his real name actually. Parang sa chat lang. Parang sabi
So,
niya,
sa online nag-umpisa to?
yeah,
Itong
it's online.
Comics
I need
Club
to sell
Philippines.
some books. I joined the group. Then sabi, parang nag-post siya. Sabi niya, I need an admin. So sabi ko, sir, I could be your admin. Piniem niya, ginawa ko ng admin. Then made all the roles. And then my first admin was Michael Gonzalez. But he's now in the States na eh. Tapos, yun na, nag-grow na kami na nag-grow.
Okay.
Tapos, nung nag-grow na yung group ng Buy and Sell, na-realize namin, may mga discussions din.
As originally, talagang forum lang siya para sa buy and
Sell
trading
lang.
and
Yeah,
buying and selling.
Yeah, walang usap-usap, walang...
Tungkol sa content, tungkol sa...
Meron
ano,
kasi pahapyaw siya.
Pero business muna talaga,
business
B2B.
talaga.
Oh, sige.
Tapos yun, parang nangyari, binuo na namin yung forums. Doon naglabasan kasi di naman lahat ng mga member ng buy and sell, di naman talaga gusto nila bumili.
Business na talaga, business na talaga.
Gusto lang talaga, may makausap lang about sa comics. Kasi yung mga iba doon, tiga Batangas, wala
Ito
silang...
yung forum side,
Yeah,
yung forum side exchanges, which is, yun yung area mo, Ryan, no? Yung forum admin. Okay.
Yun, parang yes, nabuo na yung forums, just yun.
Pero ngayon, yung club nyo ba may structure ba ngayon? Kasi dati parang informal ano lang, parang samahan lang. Pero ngayon may structure na kayo. As in, you know, I mean like a real club. Kumbaga may rules na kayo.
Meron kami, yeah.
Officers obviously kayo, dalawa officers. Ano yung structure ng club nyo?
Structure. May rules kami. May rules yun. May set rules yun sa bayan.
Para ma-maintain lang yung order
Yung order. Minsan mahirap kasi may mga iba nagagalit.
May mga pasaway.
Mga pasaway. No, parang sige. Pero yun, pero masaya naman kasi mga friends ko ngayon, lahat doon nakilala ko sa group eh.
Oh. And yung kahit anong club syempre habang lumalaki, kailangan talaga may rules, di ba? Syempre, to govern yung kasi gets unwieldy, di ba? Kung malaki na siya, marami nang sumasali. At present, how many members yung Comics Club Philippines?
Estimated around 2,000.
2,000 for buy and sell.
Yeah.
Almost 2,000
for
the forums.
Yeah.
Now, do you know kung spread out sila sa Pilipinas or mainly Metro Manila? Ano ba yung demographic ninyo?
Well, as far as I remember, there's someone from Zamboanga, nagluwas siya for Comic-Con. And then...
Ito yung convention nyo?
Yung Comic-Con. Yeah. And then, may mga iba, tiga Iloilo, mga ganun. Parang, I'm asking him, paano kayo nakakabili ng comics? Hindi, dahil nasa group kaya pasalamat sila eh. Kasi meron silang access ulit kasi
shipping usually yung nangyayari for that one.
Tsaka magkakakilala naman kami kaya sige.
So that's really how it started, no?
Yeah.
Yung sa forums naman, Ryan, pag sabing forum head, forum administrator, sabi nga ni Brian, ito yung venue where people can exchange ideas and yung passionate talaga about comics.
Yes.
What kind of activities do you organize para sa mga membro nyo?
Well, pag may mga, let's say, mga events sa mga local comic stores natin, we push them to attend, mga ganun. Tapos, and then, we also have yung mga up-and-coming mga artists, yung mga gusto pumasok sa industry din. Pinupush din namin na, sige, go, you post your stuff in the forums, ganito, ganyan. We also have yung mga debates din doon for good conversations lang talaga.
Debates,
Debates on what? On
debates. Heated yun.
Sometimes
pag involved na si Batman, aabot yung comments ng mga thousands. Yeah, promise. As in, nagtatalo sila. Parang, mas magaling si Batman.
At it gets down to that level talagang, kung sino mas magaling na superhero, ganyan.
Minsan kakapiko ng pangalan eh.
Tapos sometimes, pag pinag-uusapan din yung mga movies, parang, did they base this on a comic book na ginawa dati or ganito ganyan?
Or parang hindi accurate yung
depiction, bakit
ganyan.
Hindi ganito yung nangyari sa comic book? What happened? Para mga discussions na ganun.
Wow, so really mukhang very passionate and enthusiastic yung mga membro nyo. Now, let's talk about demographic. Yung mga sumasali sa inyo, may age bracket ba? Or, kasi, I mean, sa akin when we talk about comics, karamihan na kilala ko na mahilig sa comics, males. I mean, may mga female members din ba kayo? Ano ba yung,
We also have female members na rin who also collects comic books. Parang...
But is it still a male-dominated, male-dominated itong comics?
Unfortunately, yes. It is, pero dahan-dahan na rin naman kasi papasok na rin eh. Kasi girls do stuff na guys do rin na naman. So,
Pero marami bang girls na mahilig? Kasi, okay, most comics are about superheroes, really, di ba? I mean, meron na tayong mga artsy, ganyan. Pero karamihan talaga pag sabing comics, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man. Marami bang, I mean, do you notice that females are getting more interested in this as well?
Yes, I can say that. Kasi on the forums, some of the females will post na about na yung whatever happened to Batgirl, mga ganon, mga Superman. Which is parang, wow, parang, yung mga iba nga parang, di ba, naalala ko may nag-comment nun na, sabi, wow, ikaw yung parang dream girl ko. Kasi bihira-bihira lang makaka-encounter kung collector ka, may term na geek.
Yes. Yun nga.
Yung geek. Parang
I don't wanna say it, pero yun nga, pag sila ng comic book collector, parang nandun sa category na...
Geek is okay. Geek is cool.
Geek is cool, actually, yun, di ba? Pero yun yung, yung stereotype nga.
Yes, yung stereotype ngayon, iba na eh. Dati kasi pag geek, sinabi lang geek, nakasalamin, tas comics ngayon. Iba na yung, ngayon, iba na yung culture ngayon.
And yung club nyo is 2 years old, and as you said, 2,000 members. Ang bilis ng rise actually ng club nyo. 2 years and 2,000 members. Not bad.
Ako rin, nagulat din.
Surprising.
Paano ba sumali sa Comics Club Philippines?
Wala, just search in Comics Club Philippines sa Facebook. Then
open group ba siya or by invitation?
Hindi, it's an open group. You could join anytime.
Okay. Ano naman yung benefits of being a member of Comics Club Philippines? Meron bang special, membership has its privileges?
Well, sa totoo lang, it's the camaraderie na lang talaga eh. Once you're there, parang everyone is welcome naman, parang ganun.
Saka pag may sale.
Yan,
kasi
parang in the loop ka.
We're in, friends naman dun sa mga LCS ngayon, local comic book shop. So, sabihin sa akin, may sale dito. Ayan. Sige, announce ko Sige, announce mo. Parang nalalaman nila.
I guess, kailangan mo talaga to be a part of this group kung gusto mo ng ganyan klaseng insider information, no? Because like me, hindi ako collector, although I can appreciate comics, pero I never hear about yung mga ganyan pag may sale nga ng collectibles, hindi ko naririnig, di ba?
Yeah.
So people who are interested to collect comics should join really your club.
Yes, please.
Now,
the more the merrier.
Question about comics. Why read comics in the first place? Parang, di ba, some people are probably thinking, like, siguro bata ako, pero ngayon matanda na ako, working na ako, ba't pa akong babasa niyan? Pambata yan. Anong comment niyo sa mga taong nagsasabi ng gano'n?
Hindi, kasi ngayon na-revolutionize na yung mga story ng comics. Ako, actually, ang hinahabol ko na ngayon yung story, yung writer na talaga, hindi na yung character eh. Yung katulad ngayon, may isa pang company, di ba, Marvel, DC, may image na yung image, para siyang HBO ng comics kasi lahat natatakal niya eh.
So parang, like yung unang comics na parang, okay, let's face it, medyo pang totoy, di ba? Ngayon, tawagan nila graphic novel na nga tawag sa comics.
Yeah,
Do you still use that term now, graphic novel? Ryan?
Graphic novel, yeah. Mga graphic novels. Pero ito, singles kasi tawag dito eh. Floppies.
Okay, let's hold up a sample. So yung tawag dito ay singles
or floppies.
So when you say singles, ito yung traditional comic na nabibili natin dati na parang standalone, na parang manipis na comic book.
Yeah.
Singles.
Yes.
And then, okay, so aside from this, ano pa yung mga ibang type of comics?
Prestige format, trade paperback.
Okay.
Yung
thicker
collected edition, yung thicker, which is collected na siya.
Okay.
And then yung omnibus.
Okay.
Omnibus collection of around 30 comics na ganyan kakapal.
So parang compilation na yun.
Compilation na siya. Hardbound na siya.
Hardbound.
Yeah.
Okay. Pero kayo, in your club, most of what you do trading is really itong sinasabi niyong singles.
Marami din eh.
Diverse talaga eh. It's a mix of lahat-lahat na rin talaga. Singles, trade paperbacks, omnibus, depende kung ano yung interest ng mga tao, ano hanap nila.
In your forums, Ryan, usually anong tinatakal sa pagdating sa ganyan, sa comics and trading? What are people most interested in sa comics?
Usually, let's say, kunwari yung mga hindi na masyado into DC and Marvel, meron sasabihin nila, may mga upcoming titles from this publisher, ganyan, tapos pinag-uusapan na kaagad kung ano yung pwede maging mga plots, parang hindi pa lumalabas yung comic book.
Alam na,
parang may mga gist na sila kung ano yung mga pinag-uusap.
Kumbaga coming soon pa lang, pinag-uusapan na.
So parang andun na rin yung part na nag-speculate na yung mga tao. Parang magmamahal ata yung issue na to. Kasi minsan kasi yung mga tao sa forums are very passionate. Parang if they follow a writer that they love, sabihin nila, this certain writer is releasing a comic book this year na ganito ganyan, we have to buy this, it's really good, ganun.
Sige, hold that thought, pare, because in a few moments, we pause for a break, pero pag-usapan natin, pagbalik natin, yung comic book collecting talaga, and also the business side.
Yeah.
So guys, more of comics when Philippines Uncut returns.
Hi, my name is John Cohen. I'm the owner of Beyond Comics here in Maryland. We're Maryland's largest comic book store. I'm here to talk to you today about how to be a comic book collector. There are 4 basic kinds of collectors. They are the reader, the collector, the investor, and the speculator. They all have differences, but the bottom line is they all like to collect and read comic books. First off, let's talk about the comic book reader. Comic book reader is a person of any age who likes to read comic books for the stories they tell. They feel that comics are a form of entertainment to be enjoyed as an art form and communication medium. They do not consider value, past, present, or future, as a factor in their purchase of the comic books. They also tend to have a stronger desire to buy the comic book story more in the complete form, like a trade paperback. The second type of collector is the one we actually term the comic book collector. They're a comic book reader who not only enjoys reading comic books, but gets a greater thrill out of acquiring as many different comics featuring the focus of their passion, such as characters, artists, writers, genre, or even publishers. The act of collecting often expands into other collectibles such as toys, statues, or premiums. Any increase in value of their comic books is considered more of a bonus than a necessity. The comic book investor is a comic book collector who focuses on acquiring comics that have the potential to maintain or gain value over time, holding such comics in high esteem. They usually focus on key issues, first appearances, major character developments, number ones, scarcity, current value, or popular storylines. The investor understands the long-term cultural value intrinsic in comics and shows the patience to ignore the ebb and flow of comic book values. The last area of comic book collecting is what we call the comic book speculator. This is a person who purchases comics solely for the purpose that the comic will escalate in value. They often purchase multiple copies of comics and seek out the hot comic of the moment with little regard to the story, character, or creators, except when they contribute to the potential value of the comic. They are often left upset when a comic does not generate a profit and become disenchanted easily.
Welcome back to Philippines Uncut. Our topic today is Comics Club Philippines, all about comics and collectibles. And joining us still is our Brian Luna, head administrator of the club, and Ryan Sulit, who is the forum administrator. So guys, welcome back sa ating second segment. Nakita natin sa video, napakaganda, talagang in-outline niya yung binanggit mo kanina, the 4 types of comic book collectors, which are reader, collector, investor, and speculator. At very interesting because talagang depending on what you want sa hobby na to, talagang meron kang makukuha. Like yung reader, joy mo lang talagang magbasa. Collector naman, gusto mo maybe joy of ownership. And investor, speculator. Now, ikaw, you said that you are a speculator.
Yes.
A speculator because yung ginagawa mo, flip mo yung comic. So tell us a bit about that.
For example, be buying this comic for around 200 pesos. And then, alam ko mag-shoot up yun in due time. O kaya, this one time I bought a comic, parang 60 pesos. First yung Secret Wars na Spider-Man. Parang I flipped it for 3,000.
Bilis and how long bago mo na-flip yun?
Hindi, di ko muna nilabas, pinatagal ko muna. Siguro mga 1 month.
Hindi rin masama yun. 60 to 3,000 in 1 month. Yeah, exactly. Hindi rin masama yun, di ba?
It's not bad talaga.
Kala ko naman, mga 3 years mo tinago, 1 month lang.
Pinainit ko lang. Sige na.
O ikaw naman, Ryan, anong klaseng collector ka?
I think I'm a bit of a, reader mainly, pero I'm also an investor din. So, yun. Kasi, sometimes, alam ko na mahal na talaga siya, so tatago ko na lang muna siya. Papatagalin ko na lang.
And yung values nga, okay, we have some samples in front of us. Baka pwede pakita sa audience. Okay, ito nga, okay. Okay, let's start with this, which you picked up. And it's an X-Men comic book.
Yeah.
And very well protected siya sa isang clear plastic case. Kaya mabasa yan, hindi masisira. Talagang dust-proof pa siguro yan.
Ano to no? Yung acrylic. Acrylic siya.
Slab na talaga siya, so it's really sealed. Tapos hindi na siya madedegrade yung quality ng paper.
So preserved na siya.
Preserved na siya kumbaga.
Tapos, Brian, walk us through, there's a number says 5.5. Anong ibig sabihin yan?
Yun yung grade nung, kasi grade siya nung CGC, yung company siya.
Natin.
Grade siya, grade ng isang company sa States, which named CGC. Sila yung nag-grade ng mga comics. So ito, ang perfect kasi 10 pero wala akong nakikitang 10 kahit.
Wala akong nakikitang 10.
9.6. Walang perfect.
9.8, the highest.
Walang perfect na comic. Hindi totoo yung mint condition. Hindi totoo yun. Kasi once na yung comic finlip mo, wala na yan. Verify na yan. Verify na yan.
And in paper, syempre yung paper sa tagal, talagang magkakaroon ng nagde-degrade din yan kahit paano, di ba?
Walang mint condition.
Unless parang lagay mo sa isang hyperbaric chamber or something na may vacuum na talagang walang nakakapasok na O2, no?
Yeah. Kaya yun, parang ito kasi, kaya siya dalawang variant.
Short.
First one would be this, yung blue.
Yeah.
Yung blue, ano siya, parang regular lang.
Regular lang. You just want it slab or preserved lang.
Okay.
That's the blue tag right here.
Okay.
And then you have the yellow. Explain nga the yellow.
The yellow one is when you want someone to sign your comic book na parang pasabihin mo na it's officially signed by, like, let's say, Stanley or the writer or the artist. Ganun.
So, mas may halaga yung yellow tag kaysa sa blue. Yung blue tag, kumbaga, gusto mo lang protect the comic, keep it like that.
Now, barcode siya.
How much are these comic books? Let's say, kung ibibenta yung mga yan, just to give our audience an idea about, kasi sabi ko kanina, it can be also it can be a business, no? It is a business for many people. Magkano yung mga ganyang comic book?
Well,
let's say itong X-Men na ano.
Kasi first appearance siya ng Marauders Tapos sign pa ni Chris Claremont.
Who's Chris Claremont? He is the
writer of the X-Men.
The writer mismo of the X-Men. Okay.
Yun, tapos parang yan, dahil dyan, pero mga roughly, pwede ko sabihin mga, safe to say, mga 6,000 to 8,000.
Yes. This one, 6,000 to 8,000. How old is the comic book? Mga year yan lumabas?
Let me just check. It's around 80s to 80s.
Imagine. So 6,000 to 8,000 pesos, ito na yung retail niya ngayon.
Yeah.
This comic book.
Yeah.
So, alam mo, sa inyo nanonood dito, sa marami sa inyo siguro, once upon a time, marami kayong comic book collection, hanapin nyo na. Kasi may value siya, di ba?
Yeah.
Now, imagine, who would have thought, no? 6,000 to 8,000 pesos for one comic book.
Yeah, di ba? Parang, ano siya?
To think na, for you to be able to have your comic books lab, you have to contact a CGC representative, then he was the one who will be bringing the comic book to the US to have it slabbed na.
Tapos, pagbalik dito from the States, naka-slab na siya.
Slab na siya. Then you have to pay the fee of like
$150 plus shipping.
Something like that. Yung fee like $80 to $100. Bukod pa sa pirma na artist if you want that.
It looks like itong, addicting. This whole thing of collecting comics is kind of addicting, no? Kasi like, just hearing you guys talk about it when we were showing the video, alam nyo parang, that's the first edition of ganyan. Ito, hindi pa lumalabas noon. Parang, kailangan you really get into it, no?
Yes.
Wala, na rin, kasi may mga mas senior na members ng group, di ba?
Yeah, parang influence na rin nila.
Nakakatawa din, kasi may natutunan din naman kami sa kanila, parang nakakatawa lang na, parang people from different walks of life, parang, isa parang,
kasi we have members who have collections na sobrang maghalaway ka talaga, parang I want that, parang ang hirap makuha. Kasi yung price niya sobrang taas talaga. It's really rare para makuha yan. Parang,
how do these people build collections? Saan sila buwibili dito sa Pilipinas? Marami bang sources of comics dito sa Pinas?
Madami. Local comic book stores, saka may mga iba, yung mga nagbibenta ng mga ganito.
Well, you have eBay, marami na rin.
Marami na access, marami na talaga. Internet kasi malaking tulong din talaga.
Yeah, exactly.
Pero anong joy niyo from collecting comics? Let's say, start with Ryan. Anong satisfaction nakuha mo from collecting comics? I assume marami ka na ring substantial na yung collection mo siguro. Kay Brian, di ba?
Parang di nakakasya sa kwarto ko.
Marami na nga.
Marami na rin. For me kasi, literature din talaga siya . So, na-enjoy ko talaga pagbabasa ng comic books. Fan din ako ni Spider-Man, stuff like that. And besides yung mga ganyan, minsan nakukolekta din ako yung mga mahirap din hanapin kasi piece of history din siya .
Yes.
Ayun. So, halimbawa, yung kanina pinakita ni Brian, yung Guardians of the Galaxy, Yun yung comic
Hold up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this.
Yan yung comic book kasi na first lumabas yung team na Guardians of the Galaxy na lumabas dun sa
Movie.
So, yun. Nakakatawa kasi, the price na binili ko siya dati was like 200 or 300 pesos. Tapos nung dumating na yung movie, nag-skyrocket yung price na naging $100 or
Imagine.
ganun.
Doon pumapasok yung speculator, yung speculator rin,
Speculator.
no? Because you said nga, Ryan, sa forums ninyo, when people know na may baka gawing movie, ganyan,
Parang ganun.
talagang tumataas yung presyo. People want to get the hard copy, kumbaga.
Sometimes they get multiple copies
Multiple
pa talaga
copies pa nga
kasi
minsan.
they know that's gonna skyrocket.
Yun yung hoarder. Yun yung hoarder.
Yun na yun.
Ayun ba yung hoarder?
Yun na yun.
Okay. Now, okay, when collecting comics, anong hinahanap ng I mean, you guys are the discerning collectors. When you see comics, ano yung hinahanap nyo? Let's say, kaya daming comics. How do you see or discern kung ano dyan yung mahalaga at ano dyan yung hindi, yung kumbaga, crap, kumbaga?
Well, ako kasi, when I was younger, I first look on the character. Parang, oh, Batman! Nabibuying ka. But now, parang I'm buying the comic because of the story. I'm buying indie na nga eh. Parang yung mga unusual stuff na nga, yung mga binibili ko ngayon, mga horror pa nga iba, di ba? Parang, pero maganda yung story. Parang story kasi, parang mahuhook ka eh. Parang ano na siya, literature na talaga. Parang,
Ay, gano'n na.
yung picture nga lang. Yun, kasi parang, di ba, may buhay tayo dito. Parang pag nagbabasa ako ng comics, parang yung nag-transfer ako sa mundo ko na. Parang, nandun na ako, parang wala na, hindi niya may story. Parang, yun yung break ko sa life. Parang commercial muna. Diba?
Pero ikaw, Ryan, when looking at the comic book, ano yung nagbibigay halaga sa isang comic book? I mean, obviously, yung condition niya, kailangan near mint, or sabi nyo nga, mint condition kung possible, if it's even possible na mint condition. Ano pa yung, let's say, kailangan hindi masyadong creased, hindi masyadong, ano yung mga basics?
Kung reader ka talaga, medyo di mo naman papansinin din talaga. Kasi ako basically, yung pinaka, habol ko talaga, it's either the writer or the artist. Well, mainly the artist din talaga. Kasi right now, ang dami na ng mga okay na artist natin, lalo na locally, marami na eh.
Yan, gusto ko pag-usapan din yan. Sige, continue.
Usually, para may mga idol ako ng mga artists dito na local, so sundan ko talaga sila. Parang,
and you know, comics really is pop art, di ba? And may market talaga sa pop art. And if you look at one comic, hindi naman siya, you know, it really is a work of art. Lalo na pag binuksan mo, makita mo yung figures and how they put the scenes together. Napakaganda talaga, di ba?
Yeah.
Oo. Now, I understand, you also, aside from collecting comics, meron na kayong mga peripheral to comics that you guys also collect. What is this naman, Brian? Paliwanag natin sa viewers kung ano tong parang drawing siya sa cartolina. Ayan.
This one, mga original pages talaga to.
Okay.
Ito talaga yung mga pinapas ng mga artists sa Marvel or sa DC or anywhere else. Ipapasa nila to, tapos ito mismo yung ginagamit nila.
So, kumbaga, ito yung ginamit nila. Yung ginamit sa paggawa ng comics mismo.
Lumabas sa comic book to. So,
ito mismo.
One of a kind talaga siya. Kasi nakalagay ito yung page number, issue.
Yes.
So, ikaw lang mayroon yan.
Because unlike, okay, if this became a comic book, and this did become a comic book, maybe tens of thousands of copies, no? Pero ito, iisa lang talaga.
Iisa lang yan.
Ito yung, kumbaga, yung original
to own the
template.
Original art of a certain page of a comic book.
Yes. I understand that yung ating mga kapwa Pinoy ay very much involved rin sa comics. Tell us about that, Brian.
Well, ito, this one is done by Lionel Yu and Sir Jerry Alan Gillan.
Si Lionel yung nag-pencil, then si Sir Jerry yung nag-ink ng artwork.
Oh, yan. Yan dalawa. Kasi ito, was done by Miko Suayan,
which is also a local artist.
So this is Spider-Man. Ito naman, what's this?
Halo-halo to eh. This is from the comic book na
Age of
Ultron. Pero not necessarily, hindi naman sa yung sa movie.
Oh, it's coming out as a movie, no? Itong Thor, Age of Ultron. It's coming out soon.
So, hindi sila Black Widow, sila Falcon, yung mga...
So apparently, marami tayong mga kapwa Pilipino na talagang gumagawa na para sa Marvel and DC and all in all these comics. Our artists, local artists. Ha? Has this been going on a long time? Matagal na bang tumitira yung mga Pinoy dyan sa mga Marvel?
Matagal na. For example, yung ito sa Guardians of the Galaxy. Si Star-Lord, ano siya, yung creator niya si Steve Englehart, di ba? Pero yung nag-drawing sa kanya si Sir Steve Gunn.
Filipino.
Filipino siya.
Co-creator of
Co-creator siya ng Star-Lord.
See, this is something that a lot of Filipinos don't know about. Kasi ako, I mean, familiar ako sa Marvels, X-Men, sa DC, ganyan. Pero hindi, first time ko na nalaman today na Pilipino pala tumitira ng mga yan.
Yeah.
And in fact, sige, pakita mo yan, Ryan, para sa
this one,
viewers natin.
Itong X-Men issue na to.
Yung mga nakapanood ng X-Men Origins. Yung
Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past. Pinakabago. Okay.
This is the issue where Bishop first appeared sa comic book. And yung creator ni Bishop is also a Pinoy, si Will Sportasio.
Yung creator niyan, actually yung sa gitna, Filipino. How interesting.
Yeah.
Oh. Now, ito naman yung mga drawings na to, since it's one of a kind, magkano kaya yung mga value nito? Kung signed by the artist and one of a kind?
It depends on yung content kung nandyan ba yung mga main characters or mga background lang ba yan sa page. So, iba-iba May mga yung price range yan, mga nasa 5,000. Tapos meron talaga yung mga...
$5,000, pwede isang ganito, 5,000.
Yes.
Wow.
Tapos, meron talaga yung wild talaga, which is, kunwari, halimbawa, mga covers, yun talaga yung thousands of dollars na yung price, mga ganun. Kasi you're owning a original art of the mismong cover ng comic book
Yes,
so,
sabi nga, one of a kind lang yan.
Exactly.
Ito yung template. Ito yung template. So, as I was saying earlier to you guys off cam, sabi ko, kayo mga Filipino collectors, meron kayong alas dun sa mga sa States because yung mga Pinoy dito, kung kilala mo yung artist, nakakuha nyo first hand, di ba? Now, if you were to flip this overseas, how big is the demand overseas for these things? Let's say papadala mo sa Amerika to at ibebenta siya sa comic collector. More. I mean, obviously,
depende talaga.
Bigger.
Rin talaga. Parang
Bigger,
depende sa yung hanap nila.
Oo.
Pero merong market para dyan sa original art talaga.
Original art. Very nice. How about these other things? Ryan, in front of you, I see Infinity, mukhang may Captain America dyan.
This one
What is this about?
was parang commissioned work, mga nire-request. Kasi mahilig din ako magpagawa ng commissioned work from the artists natin So, I asked the artist kung pwede siya mag-draw ng favorite character ko or kung sino man. Then,
so this is a commissioned work?
This is a commissioned work.
Okay, and I understand, meron ka rin itong isang napaka-special na commissioned work.
Ito medyo favorite ko nga ito Kasi this was drawn by si Stanley Lau, si Art Germ. Popular siya sa Singapore din. Kasi I attended a convention in Singapore. Then I met him there. Tapos nagpa-request ako ng ganito. I wanted something na parang gusto ko sana na Pinoy character talaga yung papagawa ko para makilala naman all over the world yung mga mga heroes and heroines natin. So yun, pinagawa ko si Darna. Ang maganda pa nun, when he made this, ni-live stream niya. So everyone around the world was watching as it was done. So people were asking, people were asking, who is that character?
Mas may halaga yan kasi syempre may documentation
exactly.
of the production, di ba?
Which is funny kasi when I came back here sa Philippines, pinakita ko na to, there were people who were talking to me na parang gusto nila i-offer na bilhin nila to by double the price na binayad ko.
And how much are being offered? I mean, let's say, how much were some of the offers for that Darna masterpiece?
Umabot na siya ng $1,000 sa yung offer.
Wow!
No kidding. Kasi he is
amazing,
a very
galing.
popular character na rin kasi. I mean, yung artist popular din.
Pero sa $1,000, ayaw pa rin bitawan yan.
Ayaw talaga. Kasi,
no, it's beautiful.
Sa Philippines kasi parang, pero dalawa pa lang ata kami yung...
Pero, okay, Philippine comics, marami na tayong, as you mentioned, Darna, we have yung original Philippine comics and characters. How in demand are these among you guys? I mean, among you collectors? May value rin ba siya?
Kung value, meron din Meron siya talaga. Saka merong market dyan sa mga Filipino comics natin. May mga nagko-collect din talaga. Kasi marami. Yung nga lang, ang sad part nga lang kasi hindi masyado na ma-market. So, hindi alam ng mga tao. Parang,
yes. Alam mo kasi yung Western comics, meron silang alas. Kaya may movies, may TV, di ba? So, I'm sure tuwing lumalabas yung X-Men, may bagong character na lumalabas, talagang tumataas yung value na kung saan lumabas sila sa comics.
Yeah.
Kaya parang kaya yung mga artist natin, sinasabi namin na go pakita niyo yung stuff niyo sa group kasi at least may gusto magpa-commission sa inyo, parang tulong na rin namin sa inyo. Parang,
Well, Brian, pagdating sa ating third segment, blogger Gerald Uy, who is a resident blogger of Comics Club Philippines, is going to join us, and we'll talk about yun nga, yung pinag-usapan natin niya, homegrown Philippine comics naman.
Okay,
So guys, stay tuned. Stay tuned because more of Comics Club Philippines when Philippines Uncut returns. Ayun, okay?
You know, that is probably the toughest question I could ever think of to answer because I don't know. What I would do was just sit back and try to think of something. I don't know that there's any inspiration involved. When I worked at Marvel, I worked for a publisher. And for example, when the Fantastic Four sold well, he said, oh, maybe the fans like groups of heroes. Come up with another group. So I sat and I thought, and I came up with the X-Men. But how I did it, I don't know. I mean, I just tried to think of a group. And I probably thought of a number of them where I said, nah, that's no good. Nah, that's no good. In fact, with the X-Men, I remember one of the toughest things is coming up with the superpower. How do they get their superpower? And I had already had the Fantastic Four get their power from cosmic rays. And I think Daredevil got his from gamma rays, and Spider-Man got his from a radioactive spider, and I was running out of ideas. So I said, hey, I'll make them mutants. They're born that way, and then I don't need any new rays. But it's just a matter of thinking. I mean, you sit and you think until the right idea hits you. There's no trick to it. Every writer in the world has to be aware of what's happening around him. And you usually try to inject a little bit of what's going on in your story.
Welcome back to Philippines Uncut. I'm Buddy Cunanan. Tonight's topic is Comics Club Philippines, all about comics and comics collectibles. Joining us still are Brian Luna, head of admin of Comics Club Philippines, Ryan Sulit, former administrator of the club, and joining them is Gerald Uy, who is the resident blogger of Comics Club Philippines. Welcome back, guys, and especially Gerald, to our third and final segment.
Thank you for having me.
No, pleasure to have you here. Pero guys, you saw that interview with the man, no, Stan Lee, and he makes it appear na okay. We've been talking a lot about his creations, diba, the past 30-40 minutes, and to hear him say that parang napakadali sa kanya. Sabi niya, wala, parang inisip ko lang, ganyan. I mean, the man is a genius, no? I mean, to create the Marvel universe. How many characters are there in the Marvel universe? Would you guys know?
tons, dami na eh.
Gano'ng kalaki ba yung Marvel universe, di ba?
Kasi malaki siya.
Hindi na isang universe ngayon.
Hindi na isang universe.
Iba-ibang universe na ngayon.
Multiverse.
Yeah. Ang galing talaga, ang galing. And so, kayo mga comics collectors really have a lot to thank to this man, no? And if you see him, he's still very strong. In fact, sa mga scene, may mga cameo pa siya, di ba? Sa Avengers, sa Thor, sa Captain America, he always has a little cameo. Anyway, welcome, Gerald. Let's talk about you as a resident blogger. Tell us a bit about you and your work.
I blog at my eponymous site. It's www.geralduy.com with a J, Gerald with a J. And basically, primarily, it's about comics and pop culture. Then I expanded to other lifestyle stories. Pero basically, I'm foremost a comics fan, and I started the blog. I started to blog about local comics and local comic book creators.
Okay.
Yun, kasi parang minsan naisip natin na, I mean, we have may industry nga sa US, comic book industry, and tayo rin mga Pinoy, we also have our stories to share sa world.
Ayun nga, pinag-usapan namin earlier, just before we stop for a break, yung Pinoy comics. Kasi we also have a rich comic industry, kaya nga siguro yung ating artists magaling tumira. Dahil meron silang, nakabihasnan na, di ba? Anong masasabi mo doon, Gerald?
Yeah, siguro kung talent, rich talaga tayo eh. Pero sa ngayon, meron talagang resurgence of comic book creators, and we're now seeing comic books in book formats in bookstores, and we're also seeing photocopied grassroots na mga indie comics sa mga local comic book stores.
Indie comics. Okay. What got you into this blogging about comics? Okay, you love comics, pero are you a collector as well? Are you a investor, speculator,
Siguro sa
reader?
sa category, I'm a reader kasi gusto ko talaga yung literature. Though, syempre, poor art can destroy a comic book store because it's a visual medium. Yan. So, I'm also yung maganda rin yung art.
Oh. No, okay. You mentioned a lot of I mean, you did mention about indie art, indie comics, all that. Ano yung estado ngayon ng local comic industry? I mean, is it thriving? Is it picking up sa mainstream? How come we outside the comic book universe don't really hear about local comics?
Kasi siguro gone are the days na nakikita sa bangketa yung mga comics. Dati may funny comics.
Yan yung isang tanong ko sa inyo, you guys in the club. Ano yung feeling nyo sa threat na parang, okay, people are saying, and I've read some articles about it, na parang wala na raw relevance yung comics printed, ha? Dahil meron raw digital medium ngayon, hindi na raw bumibili yung mga tao ng comics. Bakit ba't pa tayo magbabasa ng comic? Anong masasabi nyo doon? Brian?
Ako kasi parang iba yung feel pag hawak mo yung papel. Na pinipage turn mo siya. At na pwede mo naamoy mo yung bagong biling na print na comics.
Bango, no?
Hindi ba? Parang gano'n. Ano siya? Parang iba yung feeling na hawak mo siya. Hindi yung nakaganon ka lang sa computer. Parang mas maganda yung nabasa mo. Parang pwede yung balik-balikan.
How about you?
Kasi sa akin naman, personally, nagdi-digital din ako. Pero kasi yung dahilan ko naman, saka yung dahilan din ng iba kasi yung space din kasi. So, i-digital ko na lang. Yung iba kasi, gusto ko talagang basahin, pero syempre dahil sa maraming speculate niya, tumataas yung presyo din talaga. So parang hindi ko kaya i-afford yung mga ibang comic books lalo na yung mga sinauna pa. So what I do is just yung parang bibilin ko na lang online sa mga apps na meron or yun nga.
Pero Gerald, okay, what these guys are saying, and then you yourself admitted na parang nawawala na nga sa mainstream yung comics, di ba? Hindi mo na nabibili sa bangketa. Ano nangyayari ngayon to preserve it? I mean, mukha kasi napaka-niche market itong local comics, di ba?
Ironic kasi yung digital nga yung sumasagip yung sa comics medium ng mga Pinoy because some creators go sa internet to show their work. Initially, they're free. That's how Trece, a comic book by Budget Tan, started. It's about a supernatural investigator set in the Philippines. So it started as a web comics, free to read sa blog, sa isang blog. Tapos, ngayon, it's now available in bookstores. So, there's no stopping now yung creators. If you want to have your work out in the world, you can just post it online. And eventually reap yung benefits nun later.
Ika nga, pinag-usapan naman earlier, yung mga artists ngayon, Pinoy artists doing work for Marvel, so much easier now, di ba, to work off-site. Ina-outsource na dito yung paggawa. And it really is helping also our artists in that sense, no?
Actually, meron nga tayo, taga-Pangasinan lang siya, rural yung environment niya si Dexter Soy. Tapos, Dexter Soy. Tapos, na-discover lang siya ng Marvel through fan art of Thor. Tapos, from that, binigyan siya ng break ng Marvel, Captain Marvel. Yun yung female na version ng Captain Marvel na magiging movie na rin ng Marvel Comics. So marami tayong comic book artists sa Pinoy na yung creation sila ay maging ma-adapt na rin into a movie.
Wow. No. Okay, now let's talk about what's being done now in the local comic graphic industry. I understand you have some samples there. Ano yung mga hawak mo?
I guess we have to thank yung Culture Crash Comics.
Okay. Can you hold up, please? Yeah, so the audience can see. Culture Crash Comics. What is Culture Crash about?
Though nag-fold na rin yung series na to, pero noong early 2000, nagkaroon ulit ng interest sa comics. So they're basically manga-influenced creators. Pero ang stories, Pinoy na Pinoy. So kahit na malalaki yung mga mata nila. So may following po ito.
Ayun talaga yung manga.
Ayun talaga yung manga.
Ayun talaga yung manga.
Doon kasi, and it's part yung new generation of comic book creators. Tapos with the help of yung award-winning graphic novelist.
So Culture Crash started it, and then now we have, and it's developed from there.
Yeah, it's actually parang coinciding kasi it's during early 2000s.
Okay.
Tapos si Arnold Ari, he came up with graphic novel after graphic novel.
Okay, so this is called The Mythology Class by Arnold Ari.
It's actually a national book awardee.
Wow.
So marami siyang graphic
And
novels.
it says it's a graphic novel, no? So pinag-usapan na namin earlier yung Standee, di ba, and then in graphic novel, and this is a graphic novel.
Yeah.
I'm going to open it for the readers, and you can see, actually, may style siya, no?
Yeah.
And actually, when you say graphic novel, very, very detailed and quite, hindi ka pambata almost, no?
Yeah.
No? It's really comics for adults.
Yeah. Tsaka maganda yung content niya kasi parang nag-research talaga si Arnold sa mythology. Yung how to cash a tikbalang, never thought na kailangan sasakyan mo pala. Dito ko na nalaman yun, parang galing. Hook ako dito.
Yeah.
Grabe.
How is the youth catching on to things like this? I mean, yung Filipino youth, ano yung reception nila sa ganyang new Filipino comics?
Actually, natatandaan ko yung office mate ko, I just made a mere mention of Arnold Are, para siyang fangirl nag-stream. So may following na, we have Manic Sabrera, na may silent comic book strips siya, na comic strips rather, na may following, as in pipilahan siya sa Comic-Con. Mas mahaba pa sa pila ng tinigbot
Rockstar, parang rockstar.
Rockstar of the local comic industry. Ang galing naman. No, I mean, that's nice kasi, I mean, for those familiar with the Philippine comic scene, in the 50s and 60s, diba, nabuhay yan eh. And then parang nag-peter out, and it's good that itong new generation of artists and comic makers are doing it. And you have other magazines or other comic books you want to show?
Well, there's the Filipino Heroes League by Paulo Fabregas. If you remember yung commercial, yung Bridesmaid ka lang, siya yung lalaki.
Yes.
Siya yung lalaki na nagsabi dun kay
Filipino
Belinda.
Heroes League.
So he wrote and drew this. So it's a third world Justice League. Parang with tight budget, how would you save the Philippines?
With tight budget.
And finally, we have the
it's
call center comics. Ayan.
It's indie format siya. So basically, photocopied sa UP.
Open it, yan, so people can see it in steady. Okay. Ano naman thrust nitong call center comics?
Well, ito yung parang mga quirks sa being a call center agent. So, nakakatawa rin naman, natutulog siya sa work.
Very nice. Okay, quickly before we close, we have about 2 minutes. First, Gerald, ano yung plans or is there anything on the horizon sa independent or Philippine comics that we can anticipate this year, 2015? Meron bang mga malaking mangyayari or activities?
Siguro, we're anticipating yung 10th year ng Comic-Con. We're coming up with something. Comic-Con is the large gathering of comic book enthusiasts.
Okay.
And I think we're also expecting more diverse works kasi hindi lang naman aswang at yung genre natin. And I think maraming exciting things to come sa indie scene.
Yes, that's very, that's something really worth following. And in fact, if you have any contacts in that scene, I would love to have them on the show and talk about more in detail, exactly what inspires them, how do they get their ideas, diba? Kasi very interesting yung sinabi mo, pati yung Philippine mythology, diba? Ginamit nila dyan sa mythology class, diba? Very interesting. Good. Well, congratulations, Gerald, and more power to you and your blog. Now, final words from the officials of Comics Club Philippines. Let's start with Ryan.
Sa mga
activities as well, and how can they find you?
You can join our Facebook page. It's at you just search
CCP Forums.
Yeah, CCP Forums.
Then CCP Buy and Sell.
Yeah, you join both the forums and the buy and sell. Comics Club Philippines Forums and Comics Club Philippines Buy and Sell.
Okay. And then Head Administrator, last words, maybe inspire them to take up comics, collecting comics as a hobby.
Well, always remember, comics is for all ages. Doesn't matter if you're young or old. And also, kasi pag-unite lahat in common interest, and masaya siya. It's fun reading.
And it's a fun group, no?
Yeah.
A way to relax and enjoy all these wonderful works of art. No? It really is pop art talaga siya. Pop art. Sige, and ako na yung newest member ng Comics Club Philippines.
Approve ni si Sir Buddy.
Hanapin ko na yung mga kahon-kahon dun sa bodega ko ng comics ko. Baka may first edition ako ng X-Men. Let's see.
Beta mo sa amin yung muna, sir.
So guys, thank you very much for joining.
Thank you for having us.
Brian, of course, Gerald and Ryan. Thank you, and more power to you guys and to your activities. And if you guys have, let's say, other activities you want to promote here coming up, let us know. And by all means, come to the station. We'll share them with the audience. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So guys, I hope you enjoyed our show tonight entitled Comics Club Philippines and learned a lot about comics, the hobby of comics, collecting, selling, trading comics here on the show. Join us again next week here on Philippines Uncut, where we talk about what matters to you guys, because you guys matter the most. I'll see you next week. Ayos!